ब्रह्मनाथ। शांति शांति शांति। स्वस्थ। Hello students, in the previous class we discussed about the introduction portion of the health and diseases. Before going to our today's topic, just have a quick recap on your before class, or we can say the introduction portion of the health and diseases. We'll have a quick recap on the basis of your revision portion of your health and diseases. Okay. So we discussed simply what is health. Health means it is a complete set of well-being of your physically, mentally and socially. Means a person should not be only means physically fit, but also he or she should be mentally fit. So we can say a person should possess a sound mind and also a sound body to maintain the harmony in all and every aspect. After that we discussed what are your pathogens. Pathogens could be your important short notes in your coming pre-test examination. If it is asked about your pathogens, if it is asked the short notes means 2.5 mark short notes, then you should write important 4 to 5 points. Important points. Simply you can write the definition of the pathogens. Means pathogens are such as some microorganisms which can cause or which have the potential to cause the disease. Diseases can be from minor to severe. Pathogens which enter into the host body take over the immunity system of the host. So you can write along means some 4 to 5 important points, and also you can write means you can include types of pathogens, such as pathogens includes both prokaryotic and the eukaryotic. Prokaryotic means it includes the various bacteria and the viruses, whereas the eukaryotes means it includes your fungi, helminthes, protozoans, etc. Okay, then your another short notes, important short note is there, which is your prion. Okay, what is prion? As I said earlier, prion is a very unique type of pathogen. It does not enter from outside into our body, but instead it is present inside the body. Or we can say prion is a wrongly folded protein, okay, which makes the normal protein infectious. Okay, and the prions are clumps, are present in the clump manner, which present in the brain tissue and affect the central nervous system. Okay, it is not an organism, neither it contains any nucleic acid. So like this you can include 4 to 5 important points of the prion. Okay, prion is a very important short notes based on your forthcoming pre-test examination. Then after that we discussed what is your diseases. Okay, disease we can say it is the main reason behind which the normal functioning of our body gets disturbed. Okay, we have also discussed means the diseases are broadly divided into two types. One is your congenital diseases and another one is your acquired diseases. Congenital diseases are the diseases which are present since birth, or they can be the human genetic disorder. Means the human genetic disorder, as we discussed earlier, it can be of two types. It can be autosomal disorder or it can be sex chromosomal disorder. Autosomal disorder, you can take various examples like polydactyls, means having an extra finger in your hand or the leg. Or we have discussed the albinism case or the dwarfism. And in the case of the sex chromosomal disorder, there are so many examples. Two common examples which we discussed are your hemophilia and color blindness. Okay, so this is all about your congenital disease. Next come to your acquired diseases. Congenital disease is present since birth, but acquired diseases are those which is present after the birth. Okay. Acquired diseases is further divided into two types: communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. Communicable diseases are the diseases which can spread from one person to another. On the case of the non-communicable, it is the disease which cannot pass from one person to another. In the non-communicable diseases, we have discussed so many diseases such as degenerative diseases in which the organs does not grow normally. Okay, and also we have discussed so many diseases in the case of the non-communicable diseases such as your cancer, means the abnormal growth of the cell. Okay, and also you include two more points in the non-communicable diseases. One is your mental illness and other one is your addiction. Addiction means what? It means it is like a drug or a particular chemical which a person in the starting phase takes for pleasure. Okay, but afterwards when the person gets habituated to that particular chemical, then it have an adverse effect on its body, on his body, and it inflicts or it reflects to its mental illness. As I have said earlier, you can include two portions. One is your addiction, other one is your mental illness. Mental illness means the person having some psychological problems. Okay. So now coming to your communicable diseases. In case of the communicable disease, it is divided into two parts. One is your contagious diseases, other one is a non-contagious diseases. In your contagious diseases means the disease is passed from one person to another person through direct contact, whereas non-contagious means the disease which is passed from one person to person but does not pass by the direct contact, but instead it includes the various vectors, means food, water droplets, blood, serum, etc. Whereas the common example of your contagious diseases are such as your ringworm and the conjunctivitis. Okay, and the common example of your the non-contagious are your malaria, typhoid, etc. Okay, so this is all about your quick recap. So this is all about your quick recap on your previous class on the introduction portion of the health and diseases. Okay, so means you should have a complete idea. Means if the short notes comes, means what is your pathogens, what is your prion, then you should write only important 4 to 5 points. Okay, if it is coming in 2.5 marks. Okay, and also in overally you should have an idea. Means in if we will discuss about the short notes, then we can be specific. Means you can focus on pathogen, you can focus on prion. Okay, but if you are specific for objective, then you should have a complete idea. Okay, means your common example means AIDS is an which type of disease, so you can write viral disease. Okay, so such type you should have a common idea, or we can say overall idea for your objective. For your objective you cannot be specific. If you want to if you want to focus on your objective, then you should have a clear idea on all the examples of that the diseases we have discussed. Okay, basically on the health and diseases portion, you should focus on your examples. Means what are your various bacterial diseases, what are various viral diseases, what are various fungal diseases. Okay, what are various protozoan diseases such as your malaria. Okay, so you should have a complete or overall idea so that you can answer the objective questions based on your health and diseases question. So besides your short notes, now we'll discuss one important difference, okay, that we have discussed earlier. Means communicable, non-communicable we have discussed earlier, but today we'll discuss on the basis of important differentiation between the communicable and non-communicable diseases. So we know communicable diseases means these are the diseases which can spread from one person to another. Instead, whereas the non-communicable diseases means these are the diseases which cannot spread from one person to another. So your first point is communicable diseases. The diseases which can spread from one person to another is your communicable. Instead, that is your non-communicable diseases is your the diseases which does not spread from one person to another. Okay. Second point. It is also known as infectious disease, whereas the non-communicable disease is known as your non-infectious disease. Okay. Third point. They are caused mainly by the pathogens. Okay, but the non-communicable diseases caused due to various reasons, such as we discussed, deficiency. Deficiency means we can say deficiency of particular nutrients, by which a person, or we can say a child, is unable to get a balanced diet, which may lead to malnutrition. Okay. Next is your allergies. Means we discussed allergy means hypersensitivity to some particular foreign particles. Okay, and etc. Okay, next point. These diseases are more likely to be acute. Acute means we can say as a quick response, such as your common cold, fever. These are a quick response. Okay, or we can say quick disease, or we can say it is likely to be acute. Acute means simply quick. But the non-communicable diseases are likely to be chronic. Chronic means prolonged. Okay, they stay for so many years, or we can say for so many times, so many period. We can say it stays for so many period, means for long duration. Simply we can say. Common example is your cancer. Okay, as we know, cancer are of various stages: first stage, second stage, third stage. Means it is a prolonged disease. Okay, so it is said is a non-communicable disease is a chronic, means this can be stayed for so many period, or we can say this can stay for long duration. Okay, or we can say prolonged time. After that, you should give the examples that you can remember in common, such as I said common cold. Okay, malaria, HIV, or we can say AIDS, the tuberculosis, etc. And in the case of the non-communicable, you can give common examples such as your cancer, allergies, diabetes, etc. Simply communicable means what? Which can be spread from one person to another. Common cold, malaria, AIDS, tuberculosis, these can be spread from one person to another. But whereas your common examples such as cancer, it cannot be spread from one person to another. Allergy, it cannot be spread from one person to another. Diabetes, it cannot be spread from one person to another. Okay. So this is one of your important differentiation between your communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. Okay, I think you should have a clear idea on the introduction part of the health and diseases, as we have discussed clearly in your previous class, and today I gave a quick recap on what we have studied in our previous class. Okay, so firstly, your important differentiation between communicable and non-communicable, then what is pathogen, and next what is your prion. Okay, please note down the difference. Now we'll discuss one of your disease, that is your filariasis, or it is also known as your elephantiasis. Okay, so first point. Filariasis is basically it is a communicable disease, and also we can say it is a helminthes disease. Okay, so first point, it is a helminthes disease. Besides, we can write it is a communicable disease. Okay. Second point. The filariasis caused due to the nematode parasites. Some common example is your Wucheria bancrofti. Okay, and also one more example is there, that is your Wucheria mellai. It is caused due to nematode parasite, okay, such as Wucheria bancrofti Okay, we'll underline this as this is a scientific name. Or another example is there, that is your Wucheria melai. Wucheria melai. This one is your genus name. Second one is your species name. That is why I have underlined separately. Always you should remember while writing, suppose it is been asked, means filariasis is caused due to which parasite, then your answer will be due to, means if it is asked perfectly, means your 1 mark objective, means what is the main parasite which caused the filariasis, then your answer will be Wucheria bancrofti. Okay, you should not be writing, some people are writing only W. bancrofti. No, that will be completely wrong. You should be writing complete name. Complete name means Wucheria bancrofti. Okay, another example is also that is your Wucheria melai, but we will give focus on Wucheria bancrofti. If it is asked, then you will write only this one, not this one. Okay, next. The adult worms basically live inside the lymphatic vessels and the lymph glands of the human. The adult worms lives inside the lymphatic vessel and lymph glands of lymph glands of humans. Okay, basically where these worms lives, this basically lives inside the lymphatic vessels or and the lymph glands of the human. Next, as it is as we know that adult consists of the male also and also female worm. The female worms are quite longer than as compared to the male worm. So we can write next point. Female worms are longer than the male worm. Okay. Next, these parasites, okay, these parasites are digenetic in nature. Means this require 2 hosts to complete their complete life cycle. These parasites are digenetic. This could be also your 1 mark important objective. Okay, digenetic means they require digenetic means they require 2 hosts. Okay, one is your primary host, okay, which is your humans, and other one is your secondary host, which is your, we can say, the mosquito, or we can say the female mosquito. Okay, and some common examples of female mosquitoes are Culex pipiens, Aedes, and the Anopheles mosquito. Culex pipiens, okay, Aedes, or the Anopheles mosquito. Okay, but if generally it is asked which is the secondary host of the filariasis, then you will write this one, Culex pipiens. Okay, beside that it can be also Aedes or the Anopheles female mosquito. Okay, why it is written that the secondary host is only the female mosquito? Because the mouth structure of the female mosquito is such a type that it can only suck the blood from the human being. So it is written the secondary host is your female mosquito. Okay, next point. The female worm as those are viviparous, they lead to or they give birth to the juvenile, or we can say the microfilaria, which is the infective stage. The female worm gives birth to the juvenile. Juvenile means that is the microfilaria, okay, which is the most infective stage. Okay, this could be also your 1 mark objective. Okay, the female worms give rise to juvenile, which is your microfilaria, which is the infective stage. Okay, so your general some points are: first point, it is a helminthes disease, or we can say communicable disease. It is caused due to nematode parasite such as your Wucheria bancrofti or Wucheria melai, but we will basically take the Wucheria bancrofti. Next, the adult worm basically lives in the human in which position, which place? We can say the lymphatic vessels and the lymph gland of the human. Next point, female worms are generally longer than the male worms. Okay, and the parasites are basically digentic, means they require 2 hosts. One is your primary host, other one is your secondary host. Primary host is your human being, and your secondary host is your female mosquito. They can be Culex pipiens, Aedes or Anopheles. Okay, next, female worms give rise to or give birth to, as those are viviparous, these give rise to juvenile, okay, such as your, that is your microfilaria, okay, which is the infective stage. Please note down. Now we will discuss about the life cycle. Firstly, we will start from the humans. In humans, adult worms lives inside the lymphatic vessels, okay, as we know, where they copulate, okay. After the copulation, the female give rise to juvenile, as we discussed, that is your microfilaria, okay, and this one is your infective stage. But the microfilaria is somehow nocturnal in periodicity, means during the night time only the microfilaria comes to the upper surface of the blood vessel. In the daytime it remains on the deeper portion of the blood vessel. So obviously, when the microfilaria at the night time will come above or closer to the blood vessel, then at night time we generally know the mosquito generally bites. So when generally the mosquito will bite in the night time, so the microfilaria will now come into or enter into the mosquitoes, or we can say it generally enters into the mosquito. So in the microfilaria case, in the night time when it comes near the blood vessels, okay, near the blood vessels, and at that time when the mosquito bites, or we can say sucks, simply we can write bites, mosquito bites, okay. After that, the next immediate step is your exsething of the sheath, removal of the sheath, okay. So after that, why it is said that exsething, means we know in the case of the microfilaria a thick cuticle or sheath is generally present. So as soon as it enters into the mosquito, when the mosquito bites the person or the human being, the next step of the microfilaria is your exsething, in which the thick cuticle is, or the sheath is being removed, Okay, after the exithing, it penetrates the gut of the mosquito and enters into the thoracic muscle. Penetrates into the gut or stomach of the mosquito and enters into the thoracic muscle. Okay, after that it will cross the larva 1 stage, okay, in which the shape will convert into sausage shape, What is the sausage shape? It is an inverted U shaped, and closed here. Okay. Next, it will grow into larva 2 stage. Remind that larva 1 stage is your inactive stage and larva 2 stage is also inactive stage. But when it will cross into larva 3 stage, it is the most active stage. Okay, and finally it will enter into the proboscis. Proboscis. Okay, and from the proboscis generally it will directly enter when this mosquito will finally bite the human being. Okay, by this the adult worm will now enter into the human. Okay, so as the complete life cycle involve 2 hosts, one is your human, other one is your mosquito, so it is called digenetic. Okay, so in these 2 cases it includes humans. The rest of all the stages it includes mosquito. Okay, so as it includes 2 hosts, one is your human, that is your primary host, other one is your mosquito, that is your secondary host, that is why it is called digenetic. Okay, so life cycle generally it is present in the lymphatic vessel, okay, where the adult worm copulates and the female worm give rise to the juvenile, that is your microfilaria, which is the infective stage. Microfilaria is generally nocturnal in periodicity. When it comes above to the or come closer to the blood vessel, at that time when the mosquito bites, it enter into the mosquito, and as soon as it entered into the mosquito, okay, the exithing occurs, means the removal of the sheath, or we can say thick cuticle or sheath that is present on the microfilaria. The exithing leads to after the exithing, now the worm enters or the larva enters into the gut of the mosquito and penetrate into the gut of the mosquito and enter into the thoracic muscle. After that it crosses the larva 1 stage, larva 2 stage, but these 2 stages are inactive. Further it enters the larva 3 stage, which is the most active stage, and finally after the larva 3 stage it enters into the proboscis. And once more, when the human this mosquito in which the proboscis consists of the adult worm, then when bite a healthy human, then these worms are being transferred into that healthy human. This person can be of same or different. Okay, that doesn't mean that it will enter into the same person from where it came. No, it can also transfer, or the proboscis in which the worm is present, it can, or we can say the adult worm can be transferred from the mosquito into a healthy human also. So in this, the human which we have taken, this can be of the same human or it can be of a differently normal human. Okay, so this is your life cycle. Please note down. Here you can add the lymphatic vessels and lymphatic glands. As you know, we have discussed earlier, lymph glands. Okay, where the adult copulate. Please change. Now come to some points based on your life cycle as we have discussed. First point, the adult produces the microfilaria. As we know, the adult after the copulation, the adult produces, the female we can say produces the microfilaria in the human body, which are sheathed, means a thick cuticle covering is present. After that, it migrates into the blood vessels of the human. Okay, that the microfilaria, which is the infective stage after the juvenile, which it goes to the blood vessels. And as it is nocturnal in periodicity, in the night time it generally comes to the upper surface of the blood vessel, but except the night time, it generally present in the deep portion of the blood vessel. Next step, when the mosquito bites the microfilaria, we can say the mosquito ingests the microfilaria along with the blood. When the mosquito sucks the blood, along with the blood, it also ingests the microfilaria. Okay, next, as it enters into the mosquito, egg sheathing occurs. As we said, a thick cuticle is present on the surface of the, we can say, the microfilaria. The sheath is being removed. Microfilaria comes out of the sheath in 1 to 2 hours of ingestion into the, and then it ingests into the gut or stomach of the mosquito. Okay, as we said earlier, after the egg sheathing, it penetrates into the gut or stomach of the mosquito and it enters into the thoracic muscle. Next, it will cross the first stage. What will happen? It will generally penetrate into the gut wall and migrate into the thoracic muscle. Okay, in the first stage it will penetrate into the gut wall and migrate into the thoracic muscle, where it will develop into a sausage shape. As we said, it is an inverted U shaped, okay, into the sausage shaped, but it is inactive. In second stage also, the larva grows in size but remains inactive. Okay, but in the third stage, it is the most active and the infective stage, in which the larva becomes highly active and infective, in which after the third stage it migrates into the proboscis of mosquito. Okay, and it is ready to infect the person, or we can say it is ready to infect the new human host. And after entering into the new human host, the human body, it develops into the adult, and once more we can say they can copulate, by which the female can produce the juvenile or the microfilaria. So like this the life cycle goes on of the filariasis. Okay, please note down. So now we'll discuss the mode of infection, symptoms and the treatment. Basically the mode of infection is your infected mosquito bite. First one is your infected, okay, mosquito bite. Okay, after that we know that the adult will copulate and the female will give rise to microfilaria, and once more when the mosquito will start sucking, then the microfilaria will come into or enter into the mosquito. So we can say the microfilaria, which is the juvenile, will enter, or we can say enter into the mosquito. Okay, we have taken so many examples such as your Culex, okay, Aedes, Anopheles, okay, this mosquito. Okay, next, what are your symptoms? Okay, your symptoms is your, we can say, the accumulation of parasite. Accumulation of parasite in the lymphatic vessel will lead to the inflammation of the lymphatic glands. Accumulation of parasite in the lymphatic vessel will lead to inflammation of lymph glands. Okay, what are the various other symptoms? The excessive growth of the connective tissue. Okay, excessive growth of the connective tissue and swelling of various organs like leg, scrotum and mammary glands. Excessive growth of connective tissue and excessive swelling. We will not write only swelling, we will write excessive swelling. Excessive swelling in the organs like leg, scrotum and mammary glands. Okay, that is why it is also known as elephantiasis. Okay, as it is the general leg, but it somehow appears like an elephant. The leg generally appear like elephant, so that is why it is called as the elephantiasis. Okay, so it is also called elephantiasis. Elephantiasis. Okay, one more point. The incubation period means the activity period of the, in case of the microfilaria is about 8 to 16 months. The incubation period is about 8 to 16 months, means this is the period when the larva will become fully active from inactive. So there are various anti-helminthes drugs such as your Hetagen. Okay, anti-helminthes drugs such as your Hetagen and your ethyl carbamazine. Ethyl carbamazine. Okay, so these are your treatments by which the filaria can be treated, such as your, as it is an helminthe disease, so we should provide anti-helminthes drugs such as your Hetagens and ethyl carbamazines. Okay, so these are your mode of infection. Means, as we know, if the person is bitten, or the mosquito bite, or the infected mosquito bite the human by the, or we can say the infected mosquito bite to the humans. Okay, after that the microfilaria also enter into the mosquito such as Culex, by the help of Culex mosquito Aedes, or the Anopheles mosquito, Culex pipiens. Okay, Culex pipiens, Aedes or Anopheles mosquito. And the incubation period means the microfilaria will become active, or we can say the activity period is your 8 to 16 months. Next, what are the various symptoms? Means the accumulation of parasite in the lymphatic vessels, where it will lead to the inflammation of the lymph glands. Or we can say another symptom is your excessive growth of the connective tissue, or some swelling or excessive swelling in various organs such as leg, scrotum and the mammary glands. That is why it is also known as the elephantiasis. It can be also your 1 mark objective. Which disease is also known as the elephantiasis? Your answer will be filariasis. Filariasis is also known as elephantiasis. Okay, next, what is your treatments? The treatment includes the anti-helminthes drugs such as your Hetagens and the ethyl carbamazines. Okay, please note down. sorry, this one is your diethyl. Okay, diethyl. This one is your diethyl carbamazine. Please note down. Lastly, come to your prevention and control of the filariasis or the elephantiasis. Obviously, we know what is the main reason behind this disease or the filaria. That is your mosquito. If we will avoid the mosquito biting us, then we can avoid this disease simply. Okay, so simply we can kill mosquito by simply spraying the DDT. Okay, or also we can kill mosquito by introducing the larvicidal fishes such as Gambusia, which can feed on those larvae or those mosquito. Okay, means the small ditches, killing mosquito larvae by filling the small ditches, means we know if some small hole are present, so by in that place by depositing of some rainwater of any form of, we can say, deposition of the water, it may lead to the formation of the mosquito larva. So in that place we can introduce the larvicidal fishes such as Gambusia, which can feed on those mosquito larvae, which can eventually lead to the killing of the mosquito larvae. Next, simply the traditional we can say prevention, that is your sleeping under the mosquito nets. That is simply, we can say, best form of prevention that we can take in the form of the filariasis. Next, wire gauze, or we can say the wire gauze we can cover our door, our window, so that the mosquito cannot enter into our house, and eventually we can prevent it from we can prevent it from the mosquito biting. So wire gauzing of door, windows, etc. to check the entry of the mosquito. And lastly, we can use various insect repellents, or we can say the mosquito repellents, such as your coil, or we can say liquid form of the mosquito form, such as common examples are your good night, Mortein, or we can say some creams are also available, by which the mosquito will keep a distance from our body. So these are a general prevention and control by which we can avoid the mosquito, or we can stay far away from the mosquito and also prevent from the mosquito biting. So this is one of your important short notes, that is it can come in your coming pre-test examination. If in exam the short note is coming about the filaria, so you will simply write about the introduction portion, then the mode of infection, symptoms, treatments, and finally the prevention and control. You did not need to write the life cycle. Okay, so that's all for today. We discussed about the a quick revision we have done about the previous class of the introduction of the health and diseases, and also we discussed today one more important disease, that is your filariasis, or it is also known as your elephantiasis. Okay, so that's all for today. From next class onwards, we'll start revision from the starting portion up to your end of the portion that is taught till today. Okay, so that's all for today. We will meet in our next class. Thank you.